I was like 13, I think, when I took my first shot.
No way.
I was actually offered alcohol by an uncle, a family friend, and I remember I felt so good, and then this feeling was just going away, and I was like, yo, I want more. But it's when I was introduced to meth, that's when things got bad. There was a bunch of cops outside, and we were surrounded, and I was telling my boy, I said, you see the cops? He's like, I see them, we're surrounded. Like, I was tripping out, because I'm like, yo, I'm not trying to go back to jail. I'm like, I'm just gonna act normal. I'll go outside, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. But we're all seeing it.
What? He's been to jail. He's been a drug addict. He's been an alcoholic. He is one of the best musicians I've ever had the honor of knowing and spending time with.
I've tried selling my soul. I tried writing a letter to the devil saying, I'm ready, take me. I just want to be famous. I just want to make it in this industry.
Oh my God.
The meth is the one substance that actually took the soul out of me, the spirit out of me. It sucked it up, and like a demon was actually living in me.
Well, damn, Happy.
I tried everything that they teach us, but that wasn't my calling. So when God had a hold on me, no one can have a hold on me.
What is going down, my beautiful people? We are back for another beautiful episode at the LightForce Center, Ancient Healing for the New Earth. Today I have a very, very, very special guest. His name is Harpreet Singh. He was born and raised in Los Angeles, California. Before he began his music journey in 2016, he was baptized, letting God into his life, changing it forever. From overcoming 12 years of addiction to drugs and alcohol, to opening up for Tyga, Jeremiah, Wiz Khalifa, Yo Gotti, and more. This is just the beginning for Happy. Impacting the world with his inspirational stories and having his music played all around the world, Happy is an international artist ready to take over the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Harpreet Singh.
Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So Happy and I have become really close over the last few months, and mainly because I am interested in radical human beings who are doing such amazing things in the world, especially when they're taking care of themselves and they're living in their purpose in order to truly inspire other people. So I heard Happy's story and I had to share it with all of you. So Happy, thank you so much for being here, bro. I love you so much. You already know that. You're one of the most talented, inspirational people I know, but you are the most heart-centered and gorgeous souls I've ever met. And so thank you. Thank you for taking the time to share your story with our community.
No, of course. Thank you so much again for having me. And I love you guys too. And thank you for sharing your platform with me. That really means a lot for me.
Thank you so much. And so let's just start from the beginning. Tell us about where you're from and how you got to where you were. And we're both actually grew up in LA, and we run in the same circles, but we never met until now, which is always in divine timing. But tell us, Happy.
Amen. Yeah, I mean, I was born and raised in Los Angeles. Pretty much started off in like North Hollywood area, migrated towards the valley, if people know, like Calabasas, Woodland Hills area. And then just grew up there, you know, did my elementary, my middle school, high school. It was interesting growing up in Los Angeles because, you know, even being a kid, I knew that I was in a big city because, you know, you just see it on TV, the way they talk about Hollywood and stuff. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. That's like right there. And growing up here, it was, now that I see it, it was definitely a lot of pressure for the kids out here, and just to try to keep up with everything. But you know, you get through it. If you're born out here, you're gonna have some thick skin. And it was definitely, I had a lot of different types of friends. So there's a lot of different cultures that you are exposed to, religions, you know, ethnicity. So I was definitely well-rounded. Having like Armenian friends, Russian, Black, white, Filipinos, like all types. So it was a diverse group that I was with growing up, and it was fun because they used to come over my house and they never had like chicken curry before. My mom would be cooking. But the reason everyone came to my house is because she wanted to keep an eye on me. And she's like, you're not going out, but they can all come here, you know? Funny thing is, I ended up being
smart. That's what I'm doing for my boys.
Yeah. So it's funny because I ended up being the worst one out of everybody. But, you know, I found my route back and I'm back in the right place. But yeah, man, Los Angeles, this is my home, and you know, I love to, when people come out here, I love to show them around and stuff. It's really cool.
That's so amazing. So growing up, you would say that you were a rebel, or you got into like the wrong crew, and how, tell me about that story.
Oh man, that's crazy because being in middle school, my parents, we had moved from NoHo to the Valley by Woodland Hills, and like my parents were like, always there'll be teacher parent conferences, and my parents went to the teachers and said, look, my son hangs out with A, B, and C, and she'll point them out, and they're like, which one's doing good in school, which one's not, because the ones that are not, we're going to try to keep them away from. The ones that are doing good, we're going to tell them, yeah, you can hang out with them. So there was a Russian kid, Armenian kid that were like doing really good, and there was like my white friend who was like, he was like the class clown, right? All good kids is just different in grades. My parents said, okay, you can hang out with them and stuff. And funny thing is, we were hanging out every day, and they're the same kids that ended up introducing me to cocaine, to ecstasy, mollies, Xanax, and so I was kind of like, it was kind of funny as I got older. I was like, wow, you chose those friends from me, but they were still chosen for a purpose that was supposed to, like, I was supposed to go through, but they
Wow.
but
How old were you when you got introduced to the drugs?
I was like 11, 12, sixth grade, seventh grade, really, really young.
Wow.
But obviously they introduced it to me when we were in high school, because we were like best friends. We did everything together. So
Right.
we like sleepovers, video games, go to parties together. We did everything. So we all planned to go to the same college, stuff like that. But then, as we got older, we all dropped out. We all agreed to drop out together. And so, that's just meeting them. They're, like I said, they all came from good families and stuff, but just like, I feel like we all felt that void. I had introduced them to alcohol, so I would like try to bring it to school. Like I was kind of on some other stuff. Like I'll be bringing it to school in high school. Like everyone's like, "What are you doing?" Like I was like, "I don't know. I just want to." Trust me, when you drink it, you're gonna feel good. Like you're gonna have a good time. Like we're in school is boring. Like might as well just have a little good time. So I was doing stuff like nobody else was doing. Even like the cholos and the gangsters, the little cliques, they're looking at me sideways like this guy. He's on something else, but. I was just trying to have like, I was just, I guess, trying to fill that void. Even being in like 9th, 10th grade, like it's crazy, but it's a real thing that, I feel like we all experience.
Yeah. With your addiction to alcohol and drugs, when that started, was there like a void that you were trying to fill, or something that you were trying to numb, or you were just really exploring?
I didn't know it was numbing anything. It was more like, I was actually offered alcohol by a uncle, a family friend. So it was like a trustworthy person. So, my parents taught me to listen to your elders, respect your elders. So, hey, uncle's pouring me a shot. Like, okay, I trust. Like,
I
that's
have to
how
do
naive
it.
I was. I really was.
Yeah.
I was a kid. Like, we're at this liquor store. Oh yeah, I drank and I just wanted to start doing bhangra. I wanted to start dancing. Like I wanted to start. But I was a kid. I was like 13, I think, when I took my first shot. And it was Red Label, and I remember I felt so good, and then this feeling was just going away, and I was like, "Yo, I want more. I want to feel that more." So,
Right.
at the beginning,
How old were you when you had your first drink?
I was 13 years old. I was 13. I didn't know I was numbing. It was at the beginning. It was fun. That's what it was. That's how it started off.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and we also see that a lot in our culture at weddings and parties and all of that. So it's not too out there that you would want to try it, because everybody does look like they're always having fun at a Punjabi party.
Yeah, no, it's definitely accepted in our culture. That's why I was like when I started smoking cigarettes, it was frowned upon. But I was like, just because the culture doesn't do it. Like I've seen some fully religious men with the turban and the beard. They're in the back of their car smoking a cigarette. I'm like, just because they don't show it. So I'll be able to throw some people out under the bus when, my parents will try to come at me like, why are you smoking cigarettes? It looks bad. What are people going to say? I said, middle finger to what people going to say. Maybe you should have come out a better way of saying, hey, this is damaging your health. This is not good for your lungs. Like I was looking for love and I wasn't getting the answers, and it was pissing me off more. And then I would go harder on the drinks and the alcohol.
You were looking for love. That is the foundation of it all, right? We're always trying to come back to the foundation, which we're born with, right? We're born with love. Everything else is taught. That's a great point. So when did it get really bad for you?
Oh man, I felt like alcohol was just a roller coaster going up. The fun times was what I would quote before, the demons entered completely and took over, was when I was like between 16 and 18. It was just funny games, popping mollies, drinking. My body could take it, so like I would drink, pop a molly, do some coke, don't sleep, go to. I went to, cause we had a restaurant, so I was like kind of like my own boss, so like I'll go in, I'll do my job, and I'll leave whenever I want it. And if I'm there and I'm tweaking still, like I would just cover it up, so I was like in this. I had this real good setup for me to party, wake up every day and just party with everyone that was out there. And
So you were a functioning addict for a while.
I was yeah, no, definitely. And I've heard of those, like, yeah. I'll be driving. I've been pulled over by cops while I was drinking in the car. I just took a shot, got me out the car, tested me, I passed. I didn't smell like alcohol. I don't know. Like, it happened twice.
No
The third time,
way.
yeah, the third time I finally got a DUI, and the third time is funny because I wasn't even swerving or anything. My lights were just off as I pulled out the plaza from a bar. So he's like, "Your lights are off," and that's how I got my first DUI. But it's when I was
Yeah.
introduced to meth. That's when things got bad because
Oof. Yeah. How old were you then? How long had you been partying for?
so it was actually, it's crazy. It was actually right when I got out from jail, which we'll cap on. It was right when I got out of jail. I was out for like 6 months maybe, and I was sober while I was in there, obviously, but when I got out, I stayed sober for a little while, and then one day I just ended up drinking, and then I ended up meeting this like these people. I met these girls, and it was a female that actually introduced it to me because she saw me popping mollies doing coke. She's like, "Hey, try this," and it looked like coke. It was crushed up. It was like white substance, and she didn't tell me what it was. She was just like, "Try this," and I'm like, "Oh, you probably got some Colombian stuff. Like, you got some stuff straight from the border. I don't know." Like, and I just hit the rail, and that's when like my eyes opened up, and it was like, again, now this is the beginning of like how alcohol started. It was fun, you know what I mean? But um as you keep doing it, I feel like the meth is the one substance that actually took the soul out of me, the spirit out of me. It sucked it up, and like a demon was actually living in me. I had anger, I had confusion, I wasn't sleeping, I
Yeah.
wasn't eating. I mean, meth comes from, I believe, it was created for the army because it was like the super drug. So you stay alert, you stay awake, you don't sleep, and you don't want food. So it's like they gave it to the people, I don't know, when the
Yeah.
Vietnam War or something. So it was still out here and stuff, still out here. And as I was, using it, I started seeing demons. I started hearing things. Like, I was legitly like, I thought I was tripping out, but I wasn't, because I was so alert and I started seeing things, and I was like, "Oh, I just opened up a door that I can't close now." And so it was a very, very bad, like, I was actually scared. I was scared for my life from something that I couldn't see. So I believe when I was 22 to 25 was the worst times of my life.
So you met this girl at a party and she introduced you to crystal meth. And that was after you got out of jail?
Yeah, I was sober for about like the whole time. Obviously, when I was in jail, I was sober. When I came out, I was sober for about like 6 months. Started drinking again. Old friends started hitting me up, and I ended up meeting some people. I met this girl. She actually ended up introducing me to meth because she was seeing that I was already partying, doing coke, and popping mollies and stuff. So she's like, "Hey, like, try this." And the way she had crushed it up and stuff, it looked just like coke. So I didn't even think that it was, anything else. I just thought that, she's like, "You gotta try this." I thought, it's she got some good stuff. Oh, she got some stuff from like straight from Colombia and stuff. So
Yeah.
I went ahead. When I hit that rail, I mean, my eyes again, they woke up. It was a door that just opened up again. It was a new drug, a new feel. Um, I, what's crazy? The craziest thing about doing meth and drinking alcohol is one cancels out the other. So I could be belligerent.
So you keep going on both
Yeah, so
ends?
I could be belligerent drunk, And then if I do a line of meth, it'll sober me up. It's the same function with coke. And the first couple of times I'll be able to, oh wow, like that was crazy. Because one rail, I mean, I was up for 12 hours. There was no come down. Coke, there's a come down every 30 minutes. So,
Oh my God.
yeah,
From one line?
Yeah, that's how it starts. And that's why a lot of
Wow. And then you had to
so
take
the
a
downer was
downer to get
alcohol.
down?
So when you're coming down, you drink alcohol. It balances you out.
Oh,
But when you
okay.
drink alcohol, eventually you start feeling the alcohol. Now you're drunk and you're making bad decisions again. You're like, yo, I'm getting drunk again. I got to hit some lines to sober up. And you're just going back and forth and back and forth. And
Oh
people, I
man.
didn't know. It's a real thing. People are really stuck in
Vicious
that. I had no
cycle.
idea. I thought I was the only one.
And so you spoke about you had demons inside of you, right?
Oh, yeah. That's when my spiritual world started
Awakening.
opening up, and the things I've
Yeah.
seen, the people I've met, the encounters I had from someone who didn't believe in God. I felt like God's like, well, you're not going to believe in me first, so I need you to take you to the other route. That's what I saw it as. So, physically,
Wow.
I've met with, I was in trappers' houses. I was like, I remember this guy lives like down the street from me. I didn't even know. He had trained like king corsos. He had drugs everywhere. He had prostitutes. He had guys coming in buying them. Like I was like, oh, I'm in a trap house. Like, okay, this is where I'm at. He's like, we're gonna build you a studio. And I was like, wait, what the hell is going on? And I'm just listening because I'm like, I ain't trying to get killed. I just came for some drugs, but okay. And the next, we go to another people's house. They got like shotguns laying around, and I'm already high out of my mind. I just want some for later. And they're like, you got to hit this right now. And I'm like, I'm good. And they just all look at each other, and I'm like, and then obviously after a while, I realized they thought I was probably a fed or something, but I was just not trying to hit lines and stuff. So that was a physical world I was getting introduced to, and spiritually, I was running around my city. When I freak out, I
Wow.
had the Bible in my hand. I know I had the Bible from jail. So I would carry that around when I was really freaked out. I felt like everyone and everything was coming at me. I would see black shadow, actually physical black demons. And I'm like, and I'd be looking at it and I'm like, oh, like there's like, it would be behind a person though. So there's a person standing and they're just doing their thing. And there would be a demon, a black thing behind it. And I got goosebumps. And I was like,
Oof.
and I was just like, nah, bro, like you're tripping, right? And it's weird because when I was so high, I wouldn't talk about it because I was just like you're freaked out, but you're just like, am I really seeing this? And I would kind of rub my eyes and I'll keep looking, and no, there's a black shadow behind. And I said, we got demons. Like there's demons behind people. And I didn't know this. And
Absolutely.
I would be hearing voices, and I would even be telling my mom, because I had so many ER visits, ambulance taking me and stuff because the meth would, give me anxiety or something. It would almost stop your heart. So I couldn't breathe
Stop your
sometimes.
heart
I'd be like
almost?
panicking. And
Yeah.
I remember one time my dad was just shooting through red lights trying to get me to the ER because that was my first panic attack, and the way it was a scary event, and I put my whole family in danger for that one. And that still didn't stop me. I still was, because I was not me. I was still under the influence. I was a completely different person. So that's why when I realized when people are drinking or doing any type of substance around me, I don't even conversate with them, because I'm like, whatever we're talking about, I'm talking to this other version of you, so it's not even really going to happen, or whatever you're trying to.
Well, that's why they call them spirits when we drink them, right? Because it brings out the spirit.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's dope.
Oh yeah, what you're doing is you're weakening what God gave you. God gave you everything. So what you're doing is you're not just damaging your body. Like, yeah, physically, yes. Like my doctor told me one shot will mess up 3 days of just regular like thinking. Just one shot. He's like, it'll take you 3 days for you to become normal again, 100%. So imagine if I took a shot, 3 days of just ideas are gone out the window. Music, being a good part, like anything that I would normally decide, I won't. And I thought that was crazy that he was even telling me that. So
it's devil's work, all of it. Spirits attached to people who are open like that, and who allow themselves to be around low vibrations. And yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I can't even. I'm like putting myself in in the event of the house, and they probably, you probably were freaking out too that if you don't do a line, they're gonna like shoot you or whatever. It's just, I can't imagine the paranoia that comes with that.
Yeah, no, even people who do coke, it's funny because I would tell people, like, I would see cops, I would see helicopters, I would literally, like, I would see, like, my family members, like, I'll be doing drugs and I'll look and, like, I will see my dad standing right there. And then I'll see police cars and I'll be like, yo, do you see that? Like, we saw a whole police, like, we were inside of a house in UCLA and we were all, like, doing mollies, but we didn't know they were laced with meth. So we were, like, kind of like, there was a bunch of cops outside and we were surrounded. And I was telling my boy, I said, you see the cops? He's like, I see them. We're surrounded. Like, you see the cops? Yeah, we are all seeing them. We go out. I'm like, I'm just going to go smoke a cigarette outside. I was tripping out because I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to go back to jail. I'm like, I'm just going to act normal. I'll go outside. There's fucking nothing there. There's nothing there. But we're all seeing it.
Does meth make you hallucinate?
Yeah, but how are we all hallucinating the same exact thing? That's the crazy part. And
it's all of your spirits are tripping together.
And I talked to many people who've done coke and they said, yeah, when they've done too much, like they start seeing things and they laugh because they're like, yeah, like I actually want to do that too. But that just shows
the sleep deprivation when you're going and going and going and going and you're not sleeping and you have all of that toxicity within your system, you lose all brain cognitive function.
Yes. And doing mollies, I didn't know that every time you like pop a molly or do, ecstasy, you're putting a dent in your brain, and
and you're losing all of your serotonin. So you have no happy left.
You're literally, it's one molly takes a whole month's worth of it, your dopamine. So what the dopamine was supposed to be, spread out for a whole month, you're taking in 4 hours.
It's all cortisol.
Yeah, so the whole 27 days of your life, you're going to be depressed because that was made for when you drink your coffee, when you eat good food, when you have love with your family, like it was spread out. And now, it's I didn't know these things, and but the spiritual battle, oh my God, I still remember everything, and as I talk about it, it sounds absolutely crazy, but it just honestly got me closer to God because I realized it was the way I was thinking, the things I was saying, it was in me. And when I sobered up, my mom's like, my son is back. And I even felt like I'm back, and
oh my God, I can't even imagine because I have 2 boys. Like that's wild for a mother to witness. Okay, so take me to, because with every breakdown, there's a breakthrough. Take me to your breakdown and when you found God.
So it's crazy. There's a few times God had sprinkled himself on me, he...
and before that, you were not a believer?
No, not at all. I didn't know God existed, so you can imagine how I was living. Wow. There was no God. So... Well,
there you go.
I was doing darkness. I did everything but kill somebody. God had introduced himself to me. I remember at a pizza place first. There was a man, he just comes up to me. I was 16 years old. He's like, Jesus loves you, pray to Jesus. And it shocked me because I said, who would say that? But it impacted me till today. So I was like, that was an odd thing, but I came home and I remember I prayed the first time to Jesus and I laid down. I'm like, all right, cool, I did it.
No way.
16 years old.
Wow.
And after that, it was just, back to what I was doing. Cause I'm like, okay, I prayed, nothing happened for sure. But when I was in my 20s, I started meeting people. You start getting older. Some people have a more of a closeness to their spirituality and stuff. So I'm meeting these girls, and they're Christians. So I'll be going to church with them, and I'm trying to figure out what this all is. And I go to Spanish churches where they're like screaming, and I'm like, this looks demonic. Like, why are they crying? Like, it was just for a new. Not a believer at the time, but like someone who just wanted to experience it. It was a really bad experience.
But the faith wasn't instilled yet. And you grew up what?
I mean, Sikh, I guess, that's what my parents...
Yeah, like your parents practiced?
Yeah. So they that's what they did.
But you never felt it?
Yeah, we went to temple, and I was like, as I got older, I said, Mom, what are they saying at the temple? She's like, I don't know. They're speaking Hindi, Farsi. They're speaking a bunch of languages. I said, then what are we learning? Like I would have questions, but I mean, there was still power in that prayer. There's still power in those prayers. It's just, I
Of
needed
course.
something that was more clear to me. So,
Yeah.
my whole life I was told what to do and
God
how
is
to
good.
follow orders and directions. My parents always taught me that because that's how they became
Yeah.
successful, doing the right thing and coming to this
Yeah.
country. So that was instilled in me. So I just needed the right tools. And, I started meeting these girls and they started, we're dating. They'll take me to their churches. And I was kind of like, that's crazy. And then I remember this other girl, she's like, you should go to this church. It looks like Disneyland. They got go-karts. They drive you around to the church. It was like a mainstream church. I said, that sounds fun. That just sounds fun. Like, you said Disneyland, like, you know what I mean? So God was kind of pulling me in, and I ended up I was going
Yeah.
on this binge, right? And I was just like, I just stopped. I remember it was just past my 25th birthday, right? Just past my 25th birthday. And it was January of 2016. And I just went and drove by myself to the church. I checked it out. I remember it was 8 p.m. I said, and I was still like kind of like coming down from it. And I was like looking around. I said, oh, this is cool. And I asked the guy to work. I said, can I go in? He looked at me. He's like, yeah, you can go in, but it's 8 p.m., bro. Like, it's late right now, but go for it. So I go in and I'm doing this whole Home Alone like thing. I'm just going in and I'm just like praying to him. I'm like, hey God, I need you. And then like a week later, I go back and I just went by myself. I got baptized. It was just me and myself and God, and I didn't know what I was doing. I just said, I've tried everything. I've tried alcohol. I tried drugs. I've tried selling my soul. I tried writing a letter to the devil saying, I'm ready, take me. I just want to be famous. I just want to make it in this industry. I tried everything that they teach us, but that wasn't my calling. So when God had a hold on me, no one can have a hold on me. And he had a hold on me the whole time. He just had me go through this and I didn't know. It was like everything I was cussing him out. My
Woo!
neighbors think I'm crazy. I was outside cussing. I didn't know God was real, but I was like, where the F are you? You
Yeah.
B, you A. And I'll be screaming out because I was going through it. And he said, I
Yeah.
need you to make a fool out of yourself because that's the calling I have on you. I need you to be the
Yeah.
worst drinker, the worst of the worst. So when I fix you, they know it wasn't you because the way you're going, ain't no coming back. And so when he did it for me, people still till today think I'm that drug addict, I'm that alcoholic, he's that crazy one. But you know what's crazy? Not believing in God was the most craziest thing that I've ever done. And when I believed in it, it was people, even till today, man, I'm
You're
just
not.
like, that was the answer of my life. And I had to go through all that. He put
Yes.
my back against the wall. He's like, now what do you want to do? You tried this, you tried this, you tried this, you tried this. You want to give me a shot now? Like, and then when I did that, the same year, I did go back. I'm not gonna lie. So after I got baptized, I went hard for another 3 months. That was my worst, the worst I can do. I was at 110 pounds from, right now I'm at almost 175. So that's a normal weight for me, right? I was about 110 pounds. My pants wouldn't stay on. So I'd have to always wear sweats and then put jeans on just so my pants would stay up. I wouldn't eat because meth, you don't want to eat. I
Wow.
didn't drink water. I didn't do anything. I was just drinking, I'll drink a whole bottle, 750, like you would probably share with 4 or 5 people. I drink one of those almost about 10% would be left every day. I would drink that every day. Like,
Oh my
my dad
gosh.
went to the clerk of the
Yeah.
liquor store. He said, what the F is wrong with you? Do you
Yeah.
not see this guy buying a bottle from you every day? Like, it was funny to me because I was like, Dad, you can't yell at somebody's business for them to be buying alcohol, And but my dad was just he was scared, and he didn't know what to do. He was just trying his best to be a dad. But you know what? Being a parent, you have to understand that God's hands on your kids. There's certain things that we're all made here to be and do. And my parents were strong enough to hold on to what I was going through. They were given that strength by God, because a normal parent wouldn't. Like, my sisters, everyone cut me off. They're like, I don't want to be a part of it. And I see it now. It's like, yeah, because you weren't supposed to be a part of it. This was something that I was supposed to go through, because for certain situations like this, I made it through. A lot of people nowadays, they're putting fentanyl in their drugs now, so people are not able to be able to come to the other side, unfortunately, and be able to talk about it, just because, well, how they're lacing it. But
Wow. Can
yeah,
I get
it's
an
hard.
amen?
Amen, amen.
Amazing. So, what was the point after you went hard for 3 months that you decided to become sober?
I had binged So it was crazy. So I was up the last few days of me, going hard. I was hanging out with these kids. They had cars. They'll take me to go get my drugs and bring me back. We'll just record. I'll be making music all day. That's all I did. I'll just be in the house making music all day, producing, recording other people. I wasn't an artist at that time. So I never saw myself as an artist, but I was like, I had developed this courage to write for people. I'm like, you should say this, you should say that, and these people were all using me, and I was using them. So it was a mutual beneficial thing. They were getting records out of me, and
Yeah.
I was like getting rides wherever I needed to go to get my drugs and alcohol. And the last 8 days, I had stayed up. I was up for 8 days, 24 hours a day. I was up. I was up. I was up. I was up. Like I was up for 8 days. It was crazy. And I remember I got
What?
ready and I was on meth and alcohol. Yeah. And I'm gonna
On
tell you something
meth?
crazy right after this, okay? Because I have to tell you this is crazy. So I was up, and then I was up. I remember I had my Lacoste shirt on, I had my jeans on, my sweats on under, so my pants don't fall, and I'm like, we're going somewhere. My boys, I'm gonna pick you up. We're gonna go somewhere. I said, okay, because these were all drug dealers I was hanging out with now. Like they're the only ones, like, and they don't have friends, so they're just like, hey, let's go. And they be telling me, I got a lot of people that OD on the shit that I
Yeah.
be selling you. I said, I don't care, just keep giving me what I want, bro. Like, let's go. Where we going? And so I was up for 8 days, and then I ended up passing out because I was so tired. So I was waiting for my boy to come, and I just had late sit down on the bed, and I passed out, and I slept for 18 hours. I remember I slept for 18 hours, and my dad even knocked on the door because he would fight with me a lot. He would kick me out the house. He'd be like, he'd be tired of my shit.
Wow.
So he knocked on the door, and he was like, "Are you alive?" Because I had the door locked, and I was like, "I'm live. I'm sleeping."
Yeah, of
He's like, "You
course.
okay?" I said, "I'm
Yeah.
okay." And I remember I kept sleeping, 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 and woke up, and I was like, "Yo, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go get me some food." But I was starving. I was so hungry, and I went to the fridge and I got my mom. I wanted my mom's food. I got sag, paneer. I got the
Starving.
rice. I
Yeah.
put dang. I put a chard. I probably shouldn't have done all that because my stomach was not ready for that. But you know what I mean? Yeah.
No,
So, but I mean,
absolutely.
I took like three, four
Yeah.
bites and I was full. But I felt peace. I felt good. I felt normal. And I was like, yes.
Your
And I
soul
was
was
like,
done.
damn, is this it? Or is this another happy you're gonna wait for a week and then go hard again? Because I tried to sober up, but I couldn't. It was either
Yeah.
my life wasn't going right, or my boys would hit me up, or it's just some reason to drink. And then that drinking was like, next thing you know, I'm hitting up the plug. And I was like, damn, but I said, I'm gonna enjoy this. And you know what I did? I took it a day at a time. I didn't say, I'm gonna sober up forever. I didn't make plans like that.
Empty promises.
That's
Yeah.
what it was. And little did I know, I didn't even know I was doing that until it was just coming from my heart. I was like, I'm gonna eat again. I'm gonna chill. Damn, I cussed a lot of people out. I said a lot of bad things to a lot of people. I gotta go apologize. A lot of people had me blocked. It's all good. Um,
Your
it was
consciousness is
coming
coming
back,
back.
and then day at a time, you know,
Yeah.
I kind of I said, hey, I want to start hitting the gym again. I literally started like a week later. I still was kind of like
No
I was
way.
forcing myself to smoke, but my spirit was telling me no. And then I just cut everything. Like smoking was the last thing, but everything that was in my system, it was about a week of that day, cold turkey. I just was done with it. And I told my mom, I said, yo, I'm gonna try this music one more time. She said, every time you do music, you end up drinking and doing drugs because that's what was sold to me. That's what the music video sold to me. I thought that's what I have to do. Um, no, it's not. Rappers are paid actors. Like they not living what they're saying. It's just a video. It's just a meme. It's just a reel. It's just a glimpse. Like Johnny Depp doesn't really have a ship. He's not really a pirate. Guys, like, come on, like, so yes, we do speak about things that happen in our life, but that's about it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I told my mom, I said, I'm gonna do this music thing. She's like, go for it, but just know every time what happens. And it was crazy. I was on my phone and it said, "This time try with God." And I was like, because I just started, following the church on Instagram. And I was like, this time try with God. And this time I tried it with God. 4 months later, 6 months later, I decided to be an artist. And I said, I'm not writing for people anymore because no one's giving me credit. And I said,
Oof.
I'm gonna go make hits. I made hits, and I'm like, now I gotta go perform these hits because people gotta see these hits. I pulled up. I said, I met some DJs when I used to be on one. I hit them up. They pull in. We start performing. They say, hey, we're gonna open up for Yo Gotti. We're gonna open up for Tyga. We're gonna open up for blah blah. I'm same year of sobering up. The only difference that year I became a Christian. I became a follower. I needed something real in my life for once, something I can lean on no matter what. And that's the only thing that I could tell you that that changed my life, and till today, 2016 is the year that I decided that I'm gonna be a Christian and follow, Jesus' way of living, and to be love, to show love, to be to not just give orders, but to be a real leader by showing first, being the one that gets on your knees and scrubbing the floors and showing people. And I didn't know all this was like, sometimes God doesn't unveil everything to you because you're not ready. You're like, I'm ready. He's like, no, you're not. The fact that you saying you ready, you ain't ready. Like, your spirit will tell you when you're ready because you're gonna be walking different. So I'm gonna tell you something crazy though. When I used to be on, before I was introduced to meth, I've heard stories about it. And when I was in jail, this dude was telling me he was hooking up with this lawyer who did meth. She was a full-on lawyer. Then we found out there was judges doing meth, doctors doing meth. I used to do meth, and this girl came in. She was a middle school private school teacher for like English or whatever. She was doing meth while she's in school teaching these kids, middle school kids. There was a guy who came in a Boeing jumpsuit to where I used to work. I remember right when I got a job, I used to work at a vape bar. My boy owned it. He got me a job there. This guy's in his freaking $150,000 Mercedes, pulls up. He's in a Boeing jumpsuit. I'm like, you a whole engineer? He's like, yeah. So, you guys sell vapes here, right? Like, I'm just trying to get this, like, these crystal products inside. And I'm like, I was like, crystal products? Oh, it's probably some, like some incense or something. That's what I was thinking. Later on, the dude that owned the place, he's like, he's doing meth, right? He's like, yeah. Like, later on, he's like, yo, I thought you guys were going to judge me, but yeah, it's meth. Like, we all do it because we need to work hard I'm like, these guys are building our planes and stuff, and they're doing meth. Like, no, everyone. It's the cheapest drug, and it keeps you high. It keeps you alert. We don't know these people are doing it. I saw it firsthand, and I'm going to drag everybody down.
Remember when we first talked, I was telling you all these kids are coming to us to heal from meth. It's crazy, and they're getting younger and younger, and they're getting it from their teachers, and it's
they give them as a tester. They're like, hey, try this, because it's a strong drug. I mean, you're not going to put a needle in you, so you're not going to take heroin unless you're really at that level, which I've had a lot of my friends that were in my middle school, the ones that were introduced to me. They ended up doing heroin. They became heroin addicts. I don't know where they are now, but I only smoked opium. I only smoked heroin. I never shot it, so it wasn't my thing. But yes, it's given to you free first, so you get hooked.
Yeah.
And
wow.
That's literally how it was given to me as an adult, And
that's so wild.
Yeah.
That is so wild. Oh my God. Well, let me tell you this. I am so grateful that you are alive and that you are here and that you're here to tell this story. And God bless you. Before we get to the end, we kind of skipped over this part. Can you tell me the jail story?
Yes.
Take me there, and I want to know how you got there and what it was like inside.
So I've been locked up a few times. One time was obviously my DUI. That was my first experience going to jail. The second time I had stolen something from a certain store, which I don't want to say because I'm not allowed to this store, but I still go. Just like, I like shopping there, but obviously I'm not stealing it. I'm not stealing there anymore. But yeah, so I went in and stole a bunch of bottles, and because I was like, I'm not paying for this. I had the money, but I was like, I don't want to pay for this because I was just on one. I was like, nah, I'm not paying. Didn't know that store was actually a setup that night, and there's cops all the shoppers were cops. I didn't know. So as I walked out, they tried to stop me, and I started fighting them. So I got battery and assault against the police.
Were you high?
No, I was just drunk. I was just drunk.
Yeah.
Got battery assault
Yeah.
against a police officer. I got theft, all that stuff. So I got locked up for, I think I was like 3-4 days that time. And because it was like under $400 worth of stuff. So now felonies are $900, but back then it was 400. So it was under 400. So it was in the felony charge. So
And how old were you then?
I was 21. But I mean, I've been
Okay.
stealing since I was like in fourth grade. You know, I've been stealing all the time. I've been stealing toys and candies and, you know, like money and just
Yeah.
little things here and there. Because, you know, I
Whatever.
didn't have it. My parents, like, they gave me everything but that. So I was like, well, I want ice cream. So, like, but when I stole money, I buy the whole neighborhood ice cream. Like, that's what I did. But
Yeah.
so when I went ahead, so the second experience was cool. The third experience was obviously the worst one. I just had, you know, broken up with this girl, so I went back on doing coke, and I was 21 years old. Yeah, because I was actually with her the first time I went to jail. So the second time I went, we were broken up. It's been a week, and I was just going through it, you know. And I remember I met this kid, and you know, he was introduced to me, and his dad owned a hookah lounge, and I was like, oh, my parents just own restaurants, so we on that, you know, that boss level mentality. And we would go to his hookah bar and stuff. It was nice. It was a very nice place, but it was his stepdad's, right? Because I didn't know his real dad was a gangster. So we started hanging out, and like maybe 3-4 days later, he's like, yo, let's hit
Yeah.
some licks. And I didn't even know what that was. I said, what the hell is a lick? Like, we got liquor in the car, bro. What you need? What are we talking about? But he was like, you know, trying to rob, and I didn't know that. So he went ahead and he took my car. He's like, yo, I'm going to borrow your car.
Hit some licks means let's go rob.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
he's like, let me borrow your car. And I was like, you know, I'm drunk right now. I'm not driving, so you could drive, but you're not gonna take my car. Like, I'm gonna come with you wherever you're going, because obviously I was like, you know, a little bit more coherent. This is before the meth, and
Yeah.
so he went ahead. We're driving. He's like, I gotta go sell an Xbox. I said, oh, okay. So we're driving. We park at a 7-Eleven, and he gets out, and I'm sitting in the passenger, and I'm just sitting there. Then he's sitting there, and before he gets out, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that real quick. He went
Rewind.
ahead. He was sitting in there, and I'm like, so we just gonna wait here? I said, I'm gonna go get some chips. So I go inside. I got some chips. Bought some chips. Came back, sat down. He's like, all right, I'll be right back. So he puts on a blue bandana over his face, goes in the freaking trunk, pulls out a machete. Not even a gun.
God.
Not even a bat. A machete.
What?
Like, this shit was long, bro. Like. 2 feet
my
almost.
God.
He goes inside and he robs these guys, bro. He takes like a bunch of things, throws it in the trunk. We take off. He's like driving. I'm like, damn, bro. Like they're like some Indian immigrants, bro. They would like, you could have done it without all that, but whatever. He drives to a second 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
He does it again. He drives to a third 7-Eleven.
Oof.
He does it again.
That
he does it
same
again.
time.
The third 7-Eleven.
The same night.
Yeah, in 20
What?
minutes. We hit 3 7-Elevens. So I had a job. I thought he had a restaurant, but we were both on one.
Yeah.
And he was on some other stuff, though. I was just drinking, right? And so we're driving the third 7-Eleven we hit. We get in the car, and I guess there were some heroin dealers in there. And so they're like, yo, like, so before obviously we spoke to them, he got in the car, he's driving, because I was like, I'm not driving, hell no. We're booking it, we're passing through stop signs, we're flying through red lights, we could have killed somebody, we're flying, we're going, and we look
And you
back.
went into any of those?
The
You
only
went
one I
into
went
the
to was the
7-Elevens?
first one, but that's literally, I just wanted to go get a bag of chips.
Just to
like,
buy chips.
yeah, like I wasn't
Okay.
even, I was
So you weren't participating in the theft?
yeah,
in the
no,
licking?
not at all. Cause like if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it big. Like this shit he was doing was like some childish stuff. So I was
Yeah.
like, what are you doing, bro? But anyways, we're flying through car. We look back. There's a pickup truck flying behind us. That's like woof, woof, like going over the dips and stuff. And we're trying to fly. He makes a left turn going 90 miles per hour, and we go right into a gas station. We were about to hit the fuel pump, but there was like those metal like poles that surround the pumps. We go right into that. Airbags deploy. We jump out, and then there's like, I'm unconscious, like he's unconscious, but we get up like in like seconds. And then there was like a pickup truck or a tow truck that pulls over. He's like, you guys okay? And we just look, and then he starts running. So I start running because I was like, yo, this is already too much. But if he runs and I stay, like I'm gonna have to take it. I'm gonna have to take the fault for all this. So I start booking it, and that
All of
pickup
it.
truck pulls up,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Get the fuck in the truck!" And we're like, we either keep running or we get in the truck, and these people like help us get away. So we jump in the truck. They ended up being heroin dealers, and they were like,
What?
my niece was in there and she had shit on her, and now she got to stay and wait for the cops. And then they're like, what do you got? What you got on you? And then they ended up robbing us. They took all the money he had. And
Oh my God. You.
So we get, it's like a movie. And the funny thing is, when I told this to the detectives, they didn't believe shit, because they're like, oh, so you guys stashed the money somewhere. I said, no, we didn't stash the money anywhere. Like, they really took that shit from us.
God.
But they took everything. They drove a little further, and they're like, all right, get out. So and they're like some white redneck KKK people. Like, they're like in a Harley gang. Like, I don't know what they were, but
Yo, this is
I
a
was with
movie.
yeah, it was a husband and a wife.
Stop.
And they had like it was like an old pickup truck, like those creepy. They're like some creepy people. And so we get out the truck, and people say, wrong place, wrong time, blah blah blah. No, it wasn't. Choppers were looking for us. We were on the news. Eventually, we all got caught up because
It was real this time. You saw the choppers for real.
Yeah, it was 100%. It was 100% real, and obviously the car was registered in my name, so they ended up finding us, and I got charged for 3 armed robberies, 2 11s, and because it was a knife, it was charged higher, because you can accidentally shoot a gun, but you can't accidentally kill someone with a sword. So that was a higher charge. And the funny thing is, I already had 2 probations prior from the DUI and the assault against the officer. So now they're charging me double. So everything that happened, it was charged double on me. And so
that shit ain't funny. The funny thing.
Yeah, so I was looking at 10 years, and he was looking at 2. And I'm like, what the? And I'm like, and the thing is, they said they just said it was a 6-foot man with a bandana on his face. So it could have been any of us.
Right.
And the fact that I told them, because I know they got cameras in there in the 7-Eleven. So I said, yeah, I went inside and got chips. They said, oh, so you went inside to scope. I said, no, I did not. I'm like, oh, God damn.
God damn.
So they twisted my words and stuff. And I get it. I wasn't doing nothing right. So when people are like, the cops are this and that, I said, well, what were you doing for them to even stop you, bro? So I'm like, what? All right, fine. I'll take the charges. I told my parents, I said, you know what? I'm going to do the time, because you guys already bailed me out twice. Like, let me learn my lesson, but they were, it's crazy. So when I was in jail, like, I'm finally getting booked. They give me my clothes. They give you a blue mat, and they give you a Bible. That's all they give you. And so I went in, and we're on like 3 people bunks. There's about 200 people in this auditorium. So if shit goes down, like, it going down. And I've seen people get literally the poop knocked out of them. Like, I've seen some crazy fights that they've had, and luckily I wasn't a part of anything, because I stayed away. But I was laying down on the bunk, and I saw some newspapers, but like, the blacks had a newspaper, the Bisons had a newspaper, and the Southsiders had a newspaper, and the whites had a newspaper. So everyone's reading. So I was like, well, I can't go get that, because they're already reading them. So I'm like, I'm just gonna read this book they gave me. So happened to be the Bible. I still have it. It's a blue one. And I just opened it and I started reading it. And as I'm reading it, people are talking, and I want to be a I forgot what they're called. You like help. You start helping the prison. So there's levels when you get locked up. Level 10 is murder. I was level 7, so I was very like, they had me like really, really bad. So
oh my God.
as I started opening up the Bible, I'm reading, and they're like, oh, I want to be that person that helps the prisoners. Like, people are like talking about, like, you get to eat good, like, because they're feeding you little burritos here, and you're not. If you're 200-300 pounds, that little burrito is not going to be enough for you. So you're going to fight the little guy to get his burrito. So I was like,
were you in solitary? Like, you were alone in your cell?
No, there was like 3. You're solitary in the beginning when they're transporting you.
Yeah.
So I was at the Twin Towers in downtown, and then they transported me to Supermax.
Oh my
Maximum penitentiary in Santa Clarita. So I'm like, you know what? I'm chilling. I'm reading my book, and then they call me, and they're like, people are telling me you'll never be able to help the prison. Like, you they only choose like 10 people. Like, there's thousands of us. They're gonna pick me. And they're very discouraging me. And I was like, man, like, I wish I can get out of here. I wish there was a better place. And I'm just reading the Bible, and then next thing you know, my level starts dropping, and they take me out of that cell, and I'm now with less high level convicts, and next thing you know, I ended up being a helper, and now I'm cooking and I'm making food now, and I get to eat that food, and that's the best position you can have in jail, is to be able to eat. And not
Wow.
only that, I ended up becoming a baker. There's only 4 bakers in the whole prison, so I'm learning how to make cinnamon rolls from scratch. We had the least security. We had like regular security.
No
Like this guy was our
way.
friend. I remember he was just like, "Yeah, I'm retiring next year." Like we would talk to him, and um, everyone, a lot of them in there were because of drugs. They made a bad decision being under the influence, and um, I saw a lot of people about to do
Yeah.
life, and they're praying and they're crying and they're trying to call their homies. Nobody's picking up except for their mom. All tatted up cholos just cry,
Mm,
When things get real, they get real, and that's when people you'll
mm,
see who's really for you and stuff. So I held on to that
yeah.
Bible my whole life because that's when I started seeing God's
Yeah.
real power. God will show you physical power from a spiritual place. We want to see physical things. He's a physical God. He will show you physical things. Just he had to put my back against the wall. Literally took everything away from me, stripped
Amen.
me. He gave me the Bible and gave me a mat to lie on. And that was when my turning point started happening. Of being introduced to him. He introduced himself in small ways, in ways that he knew I would understand. And it was never in a way where other people are. Like a lot of people in church, they don't understand my calling, and they're godly people, and I'll sometimes go to them for prayer, but I
Yeah.
still stay away because I can see that they're judging me, and I'm like, so I'm like, I love the church, I love the people, I love the like-minded people that we all have the same belief, but I still feel that we all have I feel like it's the same God, but we just have a different version of him that fits our life. We take bits and pieces out and put it in,
Yeah, of
but
course.
I officially let him completely use me. I
Of
said, use
course.
me as you like. But that's when I realized he's like, well, I can use you in what you love to do. He said, you've always loved music, right? He said, I put that in you. I wanted you to love music.
Yeah.
And then I made you go through all this because when your time comes, drugs and alcohol is gonna be epidemic again. And you're gonna be able to talk to the kids. I didn't know all this. I was going through it. I thought you hated me when I was
Yeah.
going through it. No, he was protecting me the whole time. He's like, you were going through training. So to everyone that is going through something, and everyone who has a dream, a calling, something they love, and every time they speak on it, people are like, you're crazy. You can never do that. We know the real version who you are. No, God knows the real version who you are. He put that dream in your heart, but he's going to make you go through some things. You're going to ask for some things, and he's going to put you through some training. It's going to be like, it's not going to make sense. Why am I going through this? Because this is your weakness. You're complaining about it because it's your weakness. When I go to the gym and I'm lifting 10 pounds, am I complaining about it? No. But if I'm lifting 50, 60, something that's pushing me, I'm complaining about it. But that's the thing that's making you strong. That's the thing that's challenging you. And that's what people need to understand. When you ask for something, it's going to come. That's the day it's going to start coming towards you. You just have to understand you're going to go through trials and training in situations that you're weak in, that you don't even want to confront.
Well, damn, Happy. You, yo, I got tears over here again. I always cry every time we talk, but this is one of the most inspirational stories I've ever heard in my life. And, we both have the same purpose, similar purposes and passions, and mine is with children as well. What is your message to the kids out there who are struggling with drugs and alcohol or anything? What should they focus on, and what's the best way to overcome temptation and being in the scene?
I would say, you know, there's a theory that people say you have everything in you. And I said, well, I'm everything I want to be when I drink. And the day I stopped drinking and gave myself 100% for once, because I loved blaming the alcohol. Oh, it didn't work that time because alcohol. Oh, it didn't work this time. So I would use the alcohol to escape from being seen as a failure. But I was failing double because I was making I was giving half progress, half effort, because of the alcohol was taking the other half. But when I was actually able to give 100% while I was sober, I was now learning. So when I failed, I learned from it because I was now at exactly where I was supposed to be, and I would learn. And every time I learned, I grew, I grew, I grew. And now when I was in rooms with these producers and these, like, you just start opening up doors for yourself. So you need to understand that, yes, you have an addictive personality. It's okay. We all do. We all want something to lean on. But from what my experience is, you can lean on God. He wants you. He loves you. And we all want to make it. You have a certain dream to be an artist, a singer, a rapper, to start your own business. But you're just like, I don't know how to do it. But look at this person did it this way, and this person did it this way, and this person had to screw this person over to make it. And we're all doing it the wrong way. And the devil blesses too. And you think that if you do it that way, no, it's not made for you. You have to lean on God. You have to pray. You have to believe in something that is actually right and good. And I'm telling you, you have addiction problems. You also have things you love. Put those addictions on the things you love. I love my family. I love cooking. I love looking good. So I love going to the gym. I love, you got to eat 3 times a day. So I'm learning new recipes for 3 meals a day. I'm showing friends how to cook and eat. I'm telling you, that version of me brought so many people into my life. And then I said, guess what, guys? I do music. I'm telling you, everything will fall in place for you. But you got to put God first, and then God will put you first. And you don't even know the version of you that he knows. So it's going to be like, really? You really think I'm this brilliant or this wonderful? And yeah, you are. You are.
Wow.
But once you start listening to him is when he starts giving you more. It's like a child. A child says, I want to drive. You're 8 years old. You can't drive yet. I want to drive. You're 10 years old. You can't drive yet. 16 years old. Okay, you can drive because you're mentally and physically ready to drive. So when the God, you start asking him for things, he goes, you're not ready yet. You're not ready yet. It's coming, but you're not ready yet. So don't think that just because it didn't happen, he's not real. He is real. I'm living proof he's real. So please, 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 I'm telling you, you got to find God. You got to just, the second I fell to my knees and I asked for prayer and I said, I need help, he came. That's how quick he comes. But you got to believe it in your heart.
God bless you, Happy, honestly. And another thing I really love about Happy is, like, we have all these amazing talks, and every time we're both like so inspired by one another. But my favorite thing is that you're now at a place where you just don't settle. You don't do anything for anybody else anymore, and you just want to make music based on, so children can hear it, and so like everyone can be a part of your movement. And I really feel that it's so important for the youth, and not just the youth, but even, you know, our age groups and older people, to see that you don't have to follow, you know, the way of what we've been kind of taught. And can you just touch on that a little bit? Like, you know, it's so cool to me that you don't do alcohol brand sponsors and it's just a straight up no for you, you know?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't have drinks in my videos, or I'm not holding no bottle. If I got a feature they want to do, they want to smoke, go for it. Me, I don't do that. Put me a Gatorade, give me some water. Like, that's just what I'm on. I don't want to market nothing like that. They've tried to give me deals with money. I said no, I'm not gonna do that. You know, I already know what that is. So
true. It's so important to stay true to what's true. Yeah,
and it's hard because everyone's looking at you sideways, like, you know. But hey, again, it's something that I would never. I know God is real now, so I'm like, hey, I don't want to piss you off. I don't want you to, because if I do this and I'm like, oh look, I got $1 million. He's like, you're about to get a $10 million Nike brand, but now you just messed it up. You know? So I'm staying true to myself, and to find out who you are, because people are like, how do you know who you are? You got to start knocking on doors. You got to start opening up things. You got to start saying, this is me, this is not me, and that's okay. People are like, oh my God, but I don't want to feel like a failure. What if I don't like it? You just learn something about yourself. That is something that no one can take away from you, because if you don't know who you are, people will tell you who you are. So you better go knock on them doors and find out who you are. And that's when it came to the music part. Like, as the older I'm getting, I'm like, you know, okay, cool. I got some trap songs. I got some R&B ones. I got some for the girls. I got some for the homies. I got something for the gangsters, and I don't got nothing for the kids. You know, I don't got something for these little kids. I mean, I love Kendrick, I love Drake, but these kids know their lyrics. There's some songs you should not know the lyrics, and I'm looking at the parents like, what are you doing? You know, so
why are you letting your kids listen to that? Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And they're like, and there's a lot of teachers that have these concerns, saying these kids are twerking and they're in 3rd grade. they're twerking in my class, and they're telling the
It's
parents, confronting them, and the parents are like, "What, you got a problem with my kid?"
That's
And
why
I'm
my
like,
kids
"Oh
are
my god."
homeschooled.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so I feel like, forget telling the greats, hey
Yeah.
man, like let's change it. I said no, I'm just gonna start doing it and let
Yep.
it be the change and let it be the new
Yes.
wave. Like I don't need to tell Drake, Kendrick, or J. Cole been on it. I respect him a lot for that. But it has to be more. Like we can still make it dope. You can still spit bars, and let it be cool for the kids and let it be cool for the ones that are under 18. And I feel like when we go out, yeah,
Inspirational.
it's like almost like we're forced to listen to trap and gangster music. And I know they got a whole, like, an idea, like Ice Cube talks about it, like the same people that own the jails own the
Yeah.
industry, and they want people to get in trouble because they make $80,000
Of
eighty
course, it's
thousand
all
dollars per
programmed.
inmate a year. So they're making more money off these inmates than they are about,
Of course, it's
so
all the system. And we got to make a new one that makes the old one obsolete. That's why we're here. Yeah.
yeah.
That's what it is.
So that's what it is. And pretty much I feel like, it's been done before. I mean, I relate more to the music back in the days because it was real lyrics, it was real things, real life scenarios.
Yeah.
Now everyone's in the hood, now everyone got a gun, now everyone, like, bro, really? Like, yes, like, we got guns, but that's to protect our families from anyone who try to come in, you know what I mean? Like, there's ways of showing
No, you just
protection
got to get your
and
spirit
security,
right.
but you don't need to brag on it and stuff. So I feel like we're in a place, that's what it is. And I feel like the
Yeah.
authenticity of people, we detached more, even though we're more connected on the phone. There's more of a
Yeah.
detachment because there's no one's talking about real stuff. It's all fake. It's all like superficial, which they're making money off of. So I realized, hey, there's a gap that's missing,
Yeah.
that I'm not even connecting to none of these songs. I love these artists, but I do not connect to anything you're saying. So I'm going to connect to something that I want to
Yeah.
say. So
And that's why I
went
connected
back.
so deep with you in all of our conversations, is because you're so authentic and so real. And it was just such a soul connection, but it's a true connection based on purpose. Like, what are we here for if we're not here to help each other, right? And you're doing so much work in that direction. And that's what people need to see. They need to have mentors, and they need to have people to look up to who are in the music industry like this, because you can't even count on a few fingers, a few people in the industry that are even doing anything remotely close to what they could be doing, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of people have an opinion of the way I'm doing my music or what I'm doing. And it's crazy because as long as God is cool with it, I'm cool with
And
it.
that's
And
why,
He knows your
and
heart. You
that's
know
why
what I mean? That's
you're in it, and that's why you're going to be the best. You already are the best to me in my eyes, but
Thank you so much. Honestly, I see myself as a very hard worker. I know there's people
yeah.
that I can outright me, out sing me out, whatever. But
I don't know,
I could
Happy, you're a
outwork
pretty dope writer and singer.
that. No, I give my flowers to the ones that deserve it. But
Happy,
you
you're
know,
so sweet.
as of for me, I just know I need to work twice as hard, and I see why I had to sober up. And because
Yep.
when I walked into this game, it was just all wolves. And if I didn't know who I was, oh man, I would have been long gone. You know what I mean? There's people throwing cocaine in front of me now, like, yo, you want a line? I said, I'm good, bro. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm gonna walk out
I'm
today and
so good.
I'm gonna feel
I'm
great.
godly, man.
Yeah, like, and I love it though. I'm not even
I
tempted
love
by it
it.
because I'm like, yo, like, damn, if this was back
That's
in,
the real test.
that's, man, I'm telling you, you
Yeah,
feel so
that's
much
the real
powerful because
test.
I took my power back and now put it in a place where I'm like, you can't touch me. Like, this had power over me, but now I'm putting,
The power of
yeah,
no
that's
is the most beautiful thing. Rejection fuels commitment, right? And people start to see that, and they're like, "Oh, okay." And then also, the respect level goes up
yeah.
so much more, and then you can
Yeah,
inspire somebody
and
else at that
even when I
party
was
one day to be
court
like,
ordered to
"Oh,
do, AA meetings, they had meetings there, and they said, we don't know. There's a 12 step, right? And I never completed it, but I'll go because
yeah,
it was court ordered. But I remembered this one thing they said. I'll never forget it. They said there's 3 million people that sobered up from step two. Step one was admitting you're an addict. Step two was surrendering, getting on your knees and asking for help and saying, God, I need you. Regardless, I'm
oof,
not telling you to be Christian, Buddhist, Hindu. I'm saying surrender. Just surrender. God will find you. He just says surrender. And not 3 million
surrender."
people or some number, a crazy number like that,
Absolutely.
sobered up from step two. So when I'm telling people this is real, it's real. So
I love it. You're so real. I
thank
love
you. I
you
love
so
you
much,
too.
bro. Can you tell me what you're working on, and how everybody can find you and your music and all
Yes.
of that?
So I am currently in between a label deal and So once that goes through, I will be dropping my first record, first mainstream record with the Coke Boys, French Montana. And then I got some records with other mainstream artists that are coming out, which I cannot speak on right now, but it is, it's only bigger from the last record. And um, I'm excited to, you know, be finally signed with a label that was always a dream of mine, and to actually have people that believe in you and love you and stuff. And it's really exciting to see it all unravel. Things that I've prayed for a very long time that are finally here. 5 years doing this professionally is finally here, and so this year I will be dropping those records. You can find me on Instagram on Happy Sing Music. All of my social media platforms are Happy Sing Music. It's either with a C or with a K at the end. And yeah, so I got a lot of big things happening this year. So I'm really excited to share that with you guys.
Yes, I love it, you guys. Thank you so much, Happy. Honestly, this is going to inspire so many people. You guys have to check out his music videos, and also he's going to come onto the LightForce Center and to our community to hopefully help other people who are struggling with addiction as well, and just be an awesome mentor on there. He's such an amazing human. So if you ever are really struggling and you just feel like reaching out, he is absolutely accessible, and that's what I love about him. And he is doing really huge things. Continue to
Thank you.
please continue to inspire Happy. Thank you so much for everything. May God bless you and your family. And I am just so honored to be your sister. I love you so much.